Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of this OOTP 24 series. The game has just dropped today, so I'm excited to jump into this. I have not played it at all, so I'm excited to see, how the game plays, any new features that we got in here. I know there's a few bits that have been added, so I'm excited to jump into that. As you can tell from the title, we're going to be playing as the Oakland A's. I mean, for obvious reason, they're not very good whatsoever. We don't have a high budget. And for that reason, we're actually going to be playing a Moneyball series, or a Moneyball style type series. We're going to be playing as Peter Brand from the movie Moneyball, which I think is quite cool. And in terms of that, I mean, we're not going to strictly be, working off an on-base percentage, like in the movie. We're going to be playing like a OOTP style Moneyball series, where we're looking to get great defense in the key positions, shortstop, centre fielders, and see if we can build a perennial winner, without spending a whole lot of money. We're not going to be handing out, big time contracts. We're going to try and keep it relatively realistic. We're not going to be making sort of any major trades sort of early in the first season or anything. And what I will say though is I will preface this by saying, obviously as you can tell, I have an English accent. I've played this game for a few years now, but my baseball knowledge isn't spectacular. So, if you can drop any comments down below, any sort of help, it'd be greatly appreciated. Any people to go after, any prospects to sort of, keep an eye on. I mean, that'd be great. It'd be greatly appreciated with that. And, how we're looking to play this game, like I said, we're not going to make any major changes in the first couple of months. We're going to sort of see how things play out. See what we've got, prospects-wise, we've got on our team. And we're looking to play it relatively realistic. We're not going to win anything or contend for anything in the first couple of seasons. We're looking to just sort of rebuild, sort of build our farm system up, and then progress from there really. But in this first episode, we're going to sort of take a look through the team, see what we've got, take a look through all of our prospect pools, take a little look in the game, get everything set up, and then we'll go from there really. But I'll jump over and we'll have a look at the team. Sorry, so before we jump into that, what I will say is, obviously, as you can see, we're going to be playing as a GM only with that. But what I will be doing is I will be controlling the lineups. But what I'll do is I'll let the manager sort of, control the player strategies. I'll look to sort of, oversee the whole team with that. We are playing on cannot be fired, just because I probably will be fired otherwise. But we'll see what we can do in terms of that. Hopefully we can actually build a good team up together here. We won't be playing in commissioner mode, obviously for obvious reasons here. But let's jump into it. Hello, so now we sort of jumped into things. What I will do before we have a look at the team, before I forget, is we will jump into the settings here, and I'll sort of show you what I've sort of set up here. I've changed a few things. I've changed it to the values 20 to 80 with increments of 5. I cannot stand the stars whatsoever. I much prefer this. I have the GM only users and controller lineups because I am playing a GM only sort of series with that. I have the show personality ratings and profile page. And then in terms of the development settings here, I've changed a few things. I've sort of upped the talent change randomness, just so we get it doesn't get too stale. We get a few changes in the minors, and get a few more changes, sort of the talent changes, and then that will sort of keep things fresh in regards to that. With the sort of batter aging in development, I'm not sure how this game will work yet. So what I've done is I sort of changed what I will run with on OOTP 23 for now. And if, seeing how things go, we can always sort of, change things back at a later date. With this, just because players do sort of drop off a cliff quite early in regards to that, I don't want them to drop off too early in regards to that. And then as well as that, development just allows them to get to their prime a little bit earlier. So they have a bit more of their prime sort of years sort of available for us to sort of use really with that. With the face gen, I've sort of got it for Major League players only, sort of generated really. The baseball cards are off because that slows things down massively. And then in terms of the AI settings here, so with that, I've got the reputation system on. That's a new thing they sort of added to this game. I'm not sure how that'll work, but it sort of will sort of, we have a our reputation impacted depending on sort of the trades that we will make, and if we sort of submit offers and don't sort of complete them, and that will sort of impacts upon what sort of trades we can make later on in the series. So hopefully we keep that sort of high because we're gonna have to make a lot of changes. So we really don't want that to sort of affect our series here really. The hard mode, that's something else that's new. I haven't got that on just because sort of in terms of I feel like if you're a GM and you're on the phone to another GM, they're going to say who they want from yourself. So I feel like by not knowing anything they want and how they're going to feel about it until you submit it, I feel like that's relatively unrealistic. So I sort of kept the hard mode off for now. But if you guys want that on, I can always switch that back on at a later date as well. We've got the training difficulty up. This is sort of where it was recommended. So I've sort of left it here. I've left the prospects of veterans in the middle. Usually I will up the prospects, but we'll sort of see how things go on this game for now, and then we can always sort of change it at a later date. We're not looking to make really any trades in the first couple of months anyway. We'll sort of see how things go with the team, and then we can sort of change that later. The player evaluation settings have changed to 40, 30, 20, 10. That's what I always go with here, so I've sort of left it at that. And then the only other thing here is the trade deadline daytime limits. I've left that as it is because I'm not sure how that'll work yet. I haven't done a trade deadline, so we'll see how that works. If we need to sort of change this at a later date, we always can. And then as well as that, so if I go to league settings here, I've changed a couple of things. The allow trading of injured players, I've changed that. I've ticked that on. Options, I've disabled the automatic evolutions just to keep sort of stats, relatively realistic. Sometimes it can change the stats and make it, an ultra offensive league or an ultra defensive league, sort of, one year or another. We don't really want that. We can sort of, change that at a later date. We'll sort of leave that for now. We've got our award names changed to what they actually are. And then as well as that, the All-Star game, I changed the influence of popularity to low. And then I switched off force all teams. I really am not a fan of that. I feel it should just be the best players playing the All-Star game. They shouldn't be having to, select a certain player from every team, especially if there's more deserving players. So I don't tick that on at all. And then with the players, I've ticked off the independent leagues, the international established free agents. I've got that in default here. I usually do turn this off. But without the Japanese leagues and a lot of the foreign leagues in here anymore for this year, I've sort of left that ticked on for now. That can always be changed up or sort of, lowered. We'll see how that goes and the effect it has. The international scouting discoveries that's what it was left at more. That actually seems a lot lower than what it would usually be. So, but I've just left that for now because I'm sort of very keen to jump into sort of generate international amateur free agents and sort of see how that works here really. So, I'm really excited for that this year. That definitely needed a change rather than sort of, offering 5 million to, the best player and then hoping they come. So we'll sort of see how that works. And, so we'll jump into, so what we'll do is I'll jump back to you when I sort of go through the owners sort of, the budget system, the owners' goals and stuff like that. Right, so as you can see, it's not ideal. I'm just going to start off with that. As you can see, John Fisher, our owner, he's 61, so he's probably got quite a while left as the owner, unfortunately. He is a penny pincher. We don't have a high budget whatsoever. If I go to finances here, you can see we've got the lowest budget in the league, $100 million. We've also got the lowest payroll as well. Not ideal at all. We've only got 10 million left available, so we're sort of jump through sort of the player development and change what we can with that. His involvement is normal, priority balanced. He wants us to achieve a winning record. That's not happening. What I will say, these do sort of follow what we'll be looking to do. To reach playoffs in 3 years. We'll see how that works. Say 3 years, that'd be 4 years, 2026. In the fourth year, we'll see if we can do that. We got 3 years to sort of rebuild. That'd be definitely a target of us. We don't want to, suck for too long. In terms of that team record, they don't want us to suck completely. There's not much I can really do. We'll try our best, but it's not looking great, if I'm honest. But the very high priority here with building your farm and improving your fan interest, I definitely agree. The fan interest is at probably an ultra low rate really in Oakland, and we're definitely looking to build our farm. We're only at 24th, and we don't have a good team. Is something that really, really needs to improve. If we're gonna sort of elevate from where we're at now and sort of start challenging for the playoffs, we're gonna have to improve our farm system. We're gonna have to get some top prospects in. So that's definitely sort of aligns with my goals here, really. But in terms of that, we're looking to sort of play a Moneyball series. With that, we're probably going to invest most of our money here in sort of probably our player development and our sort of international free agent budget. So I will sort of, jump through a few things here. What I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to set this to 0 for our draft budget, because we can always, all of our budget left will be spent on that anyway. And I will actually up the international free agent budget. Ooh. Definitely want it more than that, to the max. And I've seen that you can actually trade for more budget, and that's something I'll be looking to do. A team like us, if we can trade for cash, if we can trade for more budget and bring in more prospects, that's something we should definitely be looking to do. In terms of our player development budget, I'm going to leave that for now. I see what I can do in terms of sort of changing anything else. Our scouting budget is ultra low as well. I'd switch this off. It's not looking good. I mean, what I'd do is I'd put this to 10%. I'll put this down to 30. Pop this up to 20, and I'll pop this up to 40. I leave that like that for now. We need more. Realistically, we need more scouting budget. We're also gonna need, 19 million left. We're going to need to pop more money in player development budget. That's so key and so important on this game. It just gives you such an advantage by having a player development budget. If we go to our salaries, there's not much we can really do about it, if I'm honest. There's not any really sort of, major contracts we can sort of unload. And like I said, we're not looking to sort of make any major changes early on in the season. I'll probably leave it to the end of March, maybe to the end of April. See how things go, and then maybe we'll look to sort of make a few changes, sort of free up some budget, can pop some more into sort of the player development, and then we can also hopefully get some more amateur free agent budget. And that's sort of the plan really for this season. Is just sort of up our budgets, build our farm system up, see if we can get anything out of our lineup, and then sort of go from there really. But what we'll do first off is we'll sort of have a look at our. We'll start off by having a little look at our sort of minor league system. We ranked 26th out of 30. Not ideal whatsoever. Our top prospect here, Tyler Soderstrom, only a 50 potential. What's he with the OSA? 60. They rate him a little bit higher, but those catcher ability and catcher arm, he's not a catcher. He won't be playing catcher for us, is what I will be saying. He's going to be, if we have a look at his ratings, he's going to be either a first baseman or maybe a left fielder. Corner outfielder with that. We'll see if we can train him up and see how he gets on with his bat, because really he's a prospect because of his bat really. And we'll see how that comes along really. He's already quite good here, but if he can improve that a bit more, we'll see how he comes along. But for him to be our top prospect is not ideal really here. We're going to need to get a lot more in. We got Ken Waldichuk. I'm probably pronouncing his name completely wrong there. Extreme flyball pitcher, not a fan of that. But he's already in MLB, so we'll give him a chance. We've got Luis Morales, who's down in the Arizona Complex League. Seems like a good pitcher, good potential, but that change-up has to come along. So it sort of, depends if that comes along, really. Daryl Hernandez seems like a good prospect. Second baseman, really. Won't be able to play sort of shortstop. He doesn't have the infield range or the defense for it really. As well as that, Mason Miller and Estru Ruiz, they're in MLB. If I'm honest, looking at this, most of the top prospects here are on the verge of MLB. We really need to do a complete rebuild of the system. Really get some good younger prospects that are going to come up in 2, 3, 4 years. We need to change this massively. Henry Bolt, Clark Elliott, Denzel Clark. It's not looking ideal whatsoever. I know Zach Geloff looks. I mean, he's already quite far along. He doesn't have the personality that I would like at all. But if he can play well for us, that doesn't matter. Look what he did. I mean, he only played 9 games in AAA last year, but he's already really far along here, and he could be a good player to either come up this year, next year, and see what we can get out of him really. But so that's sort of our prospect system. So I'll jump back to you. I'll sort of set up all the lineup, and then we'll sort of go through what our sort of MLB roster's looking like and sort of what we got in place of that. So coming back, I have set up the lineups here. So I've sort of gone through, if I'm honest, it's probably not the best lineups I could do, but in my opinion, that's what I thought was best. So we've got sort of Tony Kemp leading off against righties. We've got Diaz, Capel, Langeliers, Brown, Ruiz, Aguilar, Allen, Pache. Pache and Allen, good defenders. They're going to play every game, but they cannot bat. I say that, Nick Allen, if he gets contact up a little bit, he could be a good contact hitter. He won't hit for any power at all. He's got great personality. So hopefully he can get a bit of improvement going. I mean, his defense is phenomenal. We've got Pache as well. He cannot hit, but his defense is phenomenal, so that gets him in the team. He's going to be starting as centre field for us. In terms of that as well, so we've got Aguilar, first base, good hitter, no defense, but he's only playing first base. You got Seth Brown at DH, good power, great power, good, fairly good defender and outfielder as well. Corner outfielder. We got Capel as well. He's phenomenal, if I'm honest. He's a leader, high work ethic, high intelligence, good defender, great bat. Hopefully he's a ground ball hitter. Unfortunately, hopefully he can get up the power up a bit, but good hitter for sure. Obviously got Aledmys Diaz. I'm saying this, I'm probably pronouncing all these names completely wrong. Good batter here. You got Jordan Diaz, Estru Ruiz, Langeliers as well. He could really develop into something. He's who they think is our best player actually in the majors. So if we sort of head to here and go to meet the team, these are our team's top players here. So we've got Carl Muller, Shea Langeliers, Fujinami, who I believe came over from Japan this year. No major league experience. Terrible personality, but that won't matter if he can play to this. He seems like a great pitcher. Hopefully he can get the control up a little bit, but he's got a phenomenal fastball and slider. His split is good as well. Great movement, great stuff. Hopefully he can be a great pitcher for us. Good stamina as well. Throws 96 to 98. He can be phenomenal for us, really. I've also noticed as well the pictures here are a bit better quality than before as well, which is quite nice. Obviously Langeliers as well, one of our top batters. Carl Muller as well here, seems like a great pitcher. Great stuff. Hopefully he can get his movement and control up a little bit, but they'll be good enough. Starter, great stamina, whole runners. 4 great pitchers. Obviously fastball is phenomenal there at 70. Throws at 93 to 95. Neutral tendency as well. He's a great pitcher, and hopefully he can really provide something great for us here. Obviously, these are our top 3 prospects that they think as well, and sort of where our players rank at. It's not ideal. But what I have noticed as well, so if we go to our team chemistry here, so Fujinami's selfish, not ideal. But obviously going through and seeing our top players, Mark Kotze has a good relationship, but he has a bad relationship with our 3 top players, which is not ideal. So he is someone who I will probably make a change. I'll probably kick him out, bring new staff, bring in a new manager. So I'll sort of go through that, and I'll jump back to you when I've sort of run through all of that. So I'm back. So we made a couple of changes here. So with manager-wise, we've gone for Danny Ayres. Good handle development, good influence mechanics, decent handle. I mean, he's probably not ideal, but the main thing is he has a good relationship. He doesn't have a poor relationship with anyone, really. He has a fair relationship with Capel, Pache, and Peterson. But in regards to that, he has a fairly good relationship with pretty much all of our players here, really. So that was the main reason I went for him, and he's not a bad manager at all. And then the only other change I did make was I actually brought in the real... Well, I've made an offer, at least, for assistant GM for the real Peter Brand, who will be our sort of right-hand man, who will make sure, give us advice on, where we should be going with everything. He is the real Peter Brand from the film, so it's great to actually get him in if we can do that. But that's all the changes I've made to the personnel for now, just because of the budget. I don't want to be sacking everyone and, not leaving us with anything left. But what I will do is I'll sort of run through, spring training, see how things go, and I'll jump back to you hopefully on opening day. A bit of news. They don't have spring training during the first season on here anymore, so there's no spring training done. But actually, what I will, unfortunately, as much as I was saying we're not looking to make any trades whatsoever, we have run into a bit of an issue where what I didn't realise was, Paul Blackburn's back as well, actually, so I can pop him in when I sort of thin this out. But, so we actually have 3 catchers here. Carlos Perez, Manny Pina was on the injured list, that's why I sort of didn't run through him, really. And Shea Langoliers as well. All 3 of these are good enough to be sort of major league catchers. Perez doesn't have the catchability the same as Pina. Pina's probably the best catcher, but he doesn't have the bat to match. Not really. As much as he is a fly ball hitter, Langoliers is a much better bat than him. So realistically, I'm probably going to look to sort of, trade Pina. As much as I wasn't looking to make any trades, it's kind of forced into that because he doesn't have any minor league options left. We're going to have to trade him, really, see what we can get for him. And then as well as that, I'll sort of run through and sort of, go through the pitching. We're going to need to sort of get rid of three of the players here. And then Pina as well, if we trade him. And then we'll sort of have the right numbers sort of for our opening day roster, really. So I'll sort of run through that, really, move a few players down to the AAA. And sort of, I'll come back to you when I've sorted all of that. Right, so we're back and we're finally at opening day now. I've got all the lineup set up. Obviously, we went through that before. As well as that, I've now got the pitching set up. So in terms of, obviously, you can see there's a couple of changes being made here. So what I will run through is I will run through the trade we have made. So if I go to transactions log, you can see I've sort of everything we've done here. We dropped down Brian Howard. Mason Miller went down AAA as well. He's a great pitcher, but he's got a little bit more development to come in his movement. And he only pitched, 5 innings in AAA last year. So maybe you can give a bit of time in AAA. Maybe we can bring him up late this year. As well as that, we did trade Manny Pina. And we traded one of our prospects, Josh Van Wright. He, not a great defender. He could play a bit of third base. Not very well. Really is the first baseman, doesn't have much power, he's a ground ball hitter as well, so he wasn't really looking like much for us in the future. And we traded him and Manny Pina, and we got a pitcher back, Spencer Turnbull. Nothing spectacular, but you can see, he's been good for the last 3 years for Detroit, and we can get him in our sort of, our starting lineup. One of our starters, and we can see what we can do. Hopefully we can trade him for some prospects at a later date, really. See what we can do with that. He's not massively expensive. We actually saved a bit of money, obviously, trading Pina as well, because he was on $4.5 million. And then as well as that, we actually got Gage Workman back, who is a 23-year-old prospect. Played in AA last year. He can play short, and pretty well as well. He's got 65 infield range. He is a ground ball hitter, but the batting profile is looking quite nice really with that. He's someone who could really actually offer something for us in the future. Great third baseman and shortstop here as well. I'm sure he'd be even better as a second baseman, but realistically he's good enough to play short, so we're playing there. See what he can do. Hopefully, he can rise up through the system. We might give him a shot in the majors if Allen doesn't work out at least. But I thought that's a good prospect to get back, as well as a good starter. Manny Pena, he's another catcher we didn't need, and as well as that, we had Joshua Wright. So I feel like it's a good move to make. If we go to our pictures, this is what it's looking like with our starters. So we got Fujinami is our opening day starter here. Obviously, the personality, not great, we spoke about before, but we've got Paul Blackburn as well. Good stuff, good movement, great control. He's got a good sinker, cutter. He's got 6 pitches. So hopefully he can offer something good for us. He seems like a great pitcher, really. We've got JP Sears, Carl Muller as well, starting left-handers, and then we've got Spencer Turnbull. Obviously, we ran through. Hopefully, he can offer something for us. We got Trevor May, who is our most most well-paid player. We got him as our closer. Streamfly, I don't like, but he does seem like a good pitcher, so we can see what he does. Really, hopefully, he offers something good for us as a closer. Something we can sort of potentially trade later on during the year at the trade deadline. We've got Zach Jackson as our setup man, with Ken Waldichuk, who actually can play as a starter. So we'll see what he does. In the bullpen this year. Potentially someone we can sort of move across as a starter at a later date. Hogan Harris as well. Never played in the majors. We'll see what he can do. As well as that, we've got Danny Jimenez here as well. Middle relief. Oh, I keep doing that. And Adrian Martinez and Drew Rasinski, they're potential starters, really. We got them in long relief. They can sort of emergency start if we need that. And then we got Sam Mole as our sort of specialist against lefties. But I'm happy. I'm happy with this sort of pitching, with our sort of pitching sort of department. I'm very happy with our lineup as well. We see how that runs. Like I said before, I'm not sure if I've done this correctly, so we'll see how it sort of goes, really. But happy with this. What I will do is I'll just sort of skip past opening day, see how we get in. It's not looking good. We're up against Shohei Ohtani. Fully expecting us to, not put up anything here. He looks absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this is the sort of player we'd love to have, obviously, but we're never going to be able to afford it. He looks absolutely phenomenal. So we'll skip past open day. We'll see how this goes. And we won. That is much better than I possibly expected. 9-5 win. So we'll see how that went. He was at home against the Angels. Seth Brown went 3-5 with 3 singles and a walk, scoring 2 runs. Phenomenal game from him. Oh, okay, it went to extra innings. The bottom of the 11th, 2 outs. Escher Ruiz hit a grand slam home run. Phenomenal. I'm very happy with that. 2 hits for Kemp, 2 hits for Diaz, 2 runs scored. 2 walks for the both of them as well. Got a hit, and 2 walks for Langoliers. If I'm pronouncing any of these names wrong, by the way, please do sort of note it down in the comments. I feel like I'm, pronouncing most of these incorrectly. Homer for Langoliers, Homer for Ruiz, that grand slam. That's phenomenal. Fujinami had 9 hits, 5 runs scored on him. Not a great debut, but the bullpen came in here and they done phenomenal. I'm very happy with that. So we'll move on from here. So what I'll do is I'll carry on playing on. I'll probably come back to you guys at around sort of end of April, sort of start of May, starting to look at making some trades. Either that or sort of around the sort of rookie draft. I'll sort of see how things go, and I'll sort of come back to you at a sort of a later date, really. But hope you enjoyed the first episode. You know, please do leave a comment down below and like the video. It really helped me out. But thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next episode.